Okay, this video is going to be covering pirouettes, and I've seen a lot of activity lately, people kind of unsure as to what this move actually is, and it's not really a move so much as a category, kind of like isolations. You can do a bunch of different isolations, you can do a bunch of different pirouettes. Essentially, it's more or less the same thing, but you do it out of a different move. So, the most basic version of a pirouette, the concept of it is that your poi does one rotation for every rotation of your body. So if you watch this, I'm just going to do it with my right hand. The poi comes down, I'm facing here. When it comes out to the side, I'm facing that side. Comes the other side, it's up the top, and then I'm over like that, back where I started. So, and if you watch, when you're spinning this, when you're first learning it, you can actually look at the poi head and watch it go all the way around in its rotation. It's kind of tricky. You got to be careful you don't fall over. It makes you dizzy if you practice this a lot. And you can do it slow or fast. Basically, the slowest you can do it is how slow you can spin your poi. And if you want to do faster, it's a quick turn. So when you add both hands into this, the first one that I learned was you put both hands on one side and you just do kind of like that. You end with them on opposite sides again, but like that. So bring them to one side, carry it over, and then you end on opposite sides again. And you can do the other direction, it's the same thing. Bring them to one side and carry it over. So in one direction, you're on the bottom part of your swing, and when you're facing the other direction, it's on the top part. So there's how you get your one rotation of your poi for a full 360 rotation of your body. Is that 180 degrees of your body rotation, you're doing the bottom half of the circle, and 180 degrees away from that, you're doing the top half of the circle. So, now you can start to do these in moves. You can do some real stuff. Or you can do it just out of spinning at your sides. The way I do this is when I do a downbeat with my left hand, I spin to my right. And your hands kind of freeze at your sides. They're not doing any movement. They kind of freeze in their position, and you spin. And it's a fairly quick spin. You spin with the speed that you're spinning. So you don't want to be spinning all crazy fast, or you're going to end up spinning around, losing control, and either hitting yourself in the face or falling over. So you don't want to do that. So if I'm spinning my sides, or I can go the other direction. I don't know if I did that quite right. And basically, when you do the spin with your body, you're going to want to look at something. I like to spin on the back part of my heel. Seems to work really well. Or you can spin on the balls of your foot. Actually, that works really well too. Face the spot, and you kind of keep looking at that spot, and then spin your head around. It's kind of like a little dancer move. A pirouette is actually a ballet move. But it doesn't really matter what you're doing with your feet. You could shuffle your feet or something. It doesn't have to be a spin. It has to do with what your hands are doing or really not doing, because they freeze at your sides, and the fact that you do one rotation of your poi for one rotation of your body. So, if you want to do this out of a weave, the way I do this is it works best when your hands are on opposite sides. And where are they on the opposite sides during the rotation of your weave? Right when you cross the new hand over. So, when I get into this, do my forward weave, when I cross over to the new side, I do my pirouette. So, here's the other side. You cross over, freeze your hands there, and you follow the poi around in your spin. So, do that again. You do it a little slower. And I'll show you a reverse one. And reverse, since you're crossing under each time, instead of forward weave where you cross over and spin, your reverse weave, you're going to cross under and spin. But it's the same thing. When you come to that side with the new hand, grab it and spin. So, this is not the same as a 360 weave. People like to mix these two up. This is a 360 weave. If you notice, my hands are weaving the entire time, and I'm doing more than one rotation of the point for a rotation of the body. This is not the same as this. But people seem to get them confused pretty easily. So to continue your pirouettes, you can do them out of a crosser. When you come down, you just spin. You just pick a direction. I like to look at one hand. Like my right hand will be on my left side. It's coming under when it comes to the front. Comes on under on the bottom. So I know that when I spin, on this side, it's going to be at the bottom part. When I spin over here, it's going to be coming over to the top. And when I come back around, it's on the bottom. So if I do that just one-handed, it's that same motion. And the way I'm doing my footwork is I'm just spinning on my heel. I kind of kick myself around, and then I put my foot down, and that's how I stop. And I kind of do the eye motion helps you stop at the right spot. It'll take you a little while to figure the planes out so that you end facing the right direction and keep your planes going. Take some practice, but that's really all it takes is a little bit of practice to get an affinity for it. So, crosser, pirouette. And you can cross the other direction. You don't hit yourself. It's the same thing in the other direction. So you can do this out of a meltdown and do a little double meltdown thing. You come out of the side, you just do a spin. So I'm coming out of my front side here. I'm going to bring my hands back to spinning at my side position when I do my spin. And then I'm back in my meltdown. You can do them out of your little single meltdown thing. Same thing. Or a forward one. I showed this on my meltdown tutorial. Yeah, I just kind of touched on it briefly. I didn't really explain it that well. So maybe this will help to explain a little bit better. So, and then you get into your behind the back weaves. And I just learned this one today, so bear with me if it's not perfect. This is a behind the back weave pirouette. So, once again, not a 360 weave. This is a behind the back 360 weave. Weaving the entire time as you're turning. You're doing your forward and reverse weaves, much like you're doing here. You do one rotation on the other side, and you spin around. So one, one, one. So that's actually, you're doing two rotations of your poi for every spin of your body, not one. So it's not a pirouette. This, you're only doing one rotation of your poi for one rotation of your body, which is why it's a pirouette. Okay, my camera just cut me off before I had a chance to entirely finish that, and I realize it's really long right now, but I was just going to say that these are not the only ones you can do. You can do a chasing the sun one. There's another good pirouette you can do. So just play around with it and have fun, and that's all I want to say. So